Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of First Impressions. Today I'm going to be looking at Mass Effect Andromeda, the fourth game in the Mass Effect series. I'm going to talk about the gameplay, graphics, sound, good points, the bad points, and give you my overall first impressions. So at the beginning of Mass Effect Andromeda, it tells you in the year 2185, the Andromeda initiative is started. Now 2185 as a year is quite important because that's around the end year of the events of Mass Effect 2 and about just before the actual Mass Effect 3 game starts. So anyway, 2185, the Council decide that they will launch the Andromeda initiative, and that's basically species from each member of the Council Milky Way. So you got humans, Turians, Solarians, Krogan, etc. They all put thousands of their own people into ships called arcs. These arcs will then go into cryosleep until they reach the Andromeda system, where they hope to inhabit new planets. Now, while you're in the cryosleep status, you and all the other species, it actually takes 600 years to actually reach the Andromeda system. So by this time that you actually start waking up, the events of Mass Effect 3 are actually ancient history. However, it comes across that the people in the Andromeda system aren't aware of what's happening in terms of the actual Reaper War. So once you actually reach the Andromeda system, that's when the core gameplay starts that you're familiar with in Mass Effect, in that the combat starts, the exploration, and so forth. So I'm going to talk about the gameplay now in Mass Effect Andromeda. So at the beginning of the game, you've got the option to do a quick start, and a quick start is just basically choosing one of the rider twins with their default appearance and just starting straight away. You can customise the rider twin of your choice though. Now the customization options are the same as in previous Mass Effect and other BioWare games such as Dragon Age, so you can customise face, hair, skin colour, etc. The main difference between this and the previous Mass Effect games though is that there's no backstory to configure. So in the previous Mass Effects with Shepard, you could choose whether you brought up on Earth, on an outpost somewhere, whether it's in the military. In this one there's none of that. You just basically create your character and you set off and start your journey. Now the combat in this game is very similar to the previous Mass Effect, so you use a cover system. The main difference being in this game though, the cover system's automatic, so when you go to somewhere where you can actually enter cover, you got your character actually click to the cover surroundings automatically, whereas previously you have to sort of interact, which I tend to prefer that, because sometimes it does feel in the new game that the cover system can be a little bit imprecise. But combat itself is a lot more hectic now, and I'd say a lot more exciting. So the levels are more open and 3D in terms of there's upper and lower levels. And I know this was in the previous Mass Effect games now, but in this one, your enemies can actually flank you quite easily. They can be, say, on top of a building or a structure, and if they're firing down at you and you're behind cover, your actual cover doesn't work anymore, so they can kill you quite easily. Also, when you're moving around in the game as well, you're more mobile as a character, so you can run as you did before, but now you've got the option to evade attacks, and you can also do short bursts of jumps with jump jets on your character, so that means you're more mobile in terms of just exploring the landscape, but also in combat it means you can get out of situations much more quickly. So if you wanted to get below or above an enemy as well as just to the side of them, you're able to do that. However, it means that on the flip side, the enemy can do that to you as well, so it does mean that you have to watch out more for enemies. In the previous games, it felt that the enemies tend to mainly just come to you from the front direction, from whichever way the battle is taking place, whereas now it does seem like they can come in more directions, so it does add a little extra level of intensity to the actual gameplay and combat itself. The skill system in Mass Effect Andromeda has been tweaked as well. So in the previous Mass Effect games, you choose a role, so whether you were a bionic, a tech, soldier, or something in between, but you'd have skills locked into that role that you'd then unlock with leveling up. In Mass Effect Andromeda, Ryder can actually invest in any of those skill trees at any time when he levels up, so you're not tied into any particular skill tree. And what happens instead is the previous roles you normally get, like Vanguard, Sentinel, or Adept, these actually become what are called profiles. So if you invest enough skills in a particular area, such as bionics or tech, you then unlock a profile, and then that profile you can equip at any time, and that just basically boosts the ability. So you'd have a profile that maybe enhances bionic powers or biotic powers, you'd have one that sort of boosts tech, one for the soldier, or you've got the profiles in between, so it does allow a lot more freedom in terms of investing your skill points. And you can also respec them at any point once you visit one of the medic bays after beginning the events of the game. A crafting system has been introduced into the new Mass Effect game. So the crafting system allows you to research blueprints for the armour, weapons and augmentations in the game. So weapons and armours are kind of self-explanatory, but just new versions of, defensive items and, offensive weapons. But the augmentations are basically mods. So the mods are things that you can add on either weapons and armour, and they have different effects depending on what you place them into. You can research different blueprints which you unlock just by exploring and completing missions. And when you create any new weapons or armour, you need resources. So the resources are the metals from the previous games, so like Element Zero, Palladium. So as you explore the environments, you can find things on foot, so like deposits of ores which you can just examine, you'll get a certain amount, as well as also mining them whilst you're out in your sort of mobile vehicle. There's an option to actually send a mining drone out and capture resources that way. You can actually still buy weapons and armour as well from vendors, but there's a lot more fun in terms that you can investigate new blueprints and then research new versions of weapons as well. So you don't just have a set weapon and it's done. You can get a second version, third version, and so forth. And each one requires more money and more resources. It does remind me of the crafting system a little bit from Dragon Age Inquisition, and it does add a nice little change to the Mass Effect series in having this for the first time. So the new Mass Effect game actually focuses a lot on the exploration. So as Ryder, you're actually a Pathfinder, and a Pathfinder is a explorer essentially, so you're not a military person in any means. So when you actually land on different planets, your main role is to actually investigate and explore. So when you're exploring, you can do it on foot, and you're a lot more mobile now because you've got the jump pack, so you can actually scale up the size of structures, cliffs and so forth. And you also got the mobile vehicle which you can drive around in, and that allows you to sort of travel through more hazardous environments, whether it's say like poisons, radiation, and it also allows you to be a lot more speedy. But also when you're exploring, you'll find remnants of alien technology, species. You might find dead colonists on certain planets. But also you can actually, as you go through the maps, the actual environments are a lot larger than in previous Mass Effect games. So what the game introduces now is the option to call down a forward base. So a forward base is like a little pod that's sort of fired down from one of the main ships. And the forward base then acts as a fast travel point, and it also allows you to change your equipment and loadout, as well as calling the actual mobile buggy that you can drive around in. And as you go through different parts of the actual environments on each planet, you can actually set multiple forward bases, so that way that you can travel between them at any point and you're not having to sort of slog about on foot, because some of the maps are quite large. A big change in this new Mass Effect game is the fact that the Renegade and Paragon / reputation systems, they've gone now. So what you have instead is still the normal dialogue options, so you can choose to be more professional, a bit more casual and responsive, or inquisitive or emotional. And you can still interact during certain cutscenes, so you may get a prompt to either hit a certain key or button, and that will change the action that is carried out in that cutscene. And you've still got the actual romance options like in the previous Mass Effect games, but the most standout thing is you don't have the option for Renegade or Paragon options anymore. Now to talk about the graphics in Mass Effect 4. So on the whole, they are an enhancement on the previous Mass Effect games, and mainly when you notice this when you're actually exploring the environments, the detail is quite striking, not just in the actual sort of skylines, but things such as flora and fauna, plant life and so forth, water effects. They do stand out and look very realistic. And when you're fighting in battle, you've got the weapon effects, bionic powers, they're quite striking. The character model cells are a little bit improved. There's a lot of options in terms of the actual ship design, planets themselves, weather systems. Now I know in the sort of online and sort of game media, there's been some criticism of the actual facial animations. On the whole, they do seem quite good. Generally, up to scratch with the previous Mass Effect games. But there are times when you do notice they do seem a little bit wooden on certain characters. But I understand that because there's quite a lot of NPCs and people who script it, it's not always possible to mocap facial animations for each person. But on the whole, because the game's quite large, it's there is a lot of dialogue. It is noticeable at times, but it's not a major setback. So to talk about music first. So the music is good in this game. So you've got the same sort of orchestral setup as in the previous Mass Effect games. It's quite emotive. There's a lot of different music to help set the theme and convey the emotion, as well as things like battle music and so on. So that's done to a very high standard. Voice acting on the whole is quite good, especially for the human sort of characters. One thing I did find it's a little bit strange is sometimes on the Turian characters it sounds almost like the recording's done through either a vocoder or it's digitised. It sounds a little bit robotic at times. It does seem a little less clearer than in the previous Mass Effect games. So I'm not know if that's down to a new way of recording or if we're trying to make the voice stand out as being a bit more non-human. It just seems a little bit jarring to hear that. But on the as well, the other sound effects, things like the gunfire when you're running around, the vehicle effects, hitting like the ground after you sort of take falls or biotic explosions, all those are done very clearly, and are impressive. So talk about the good points of Mass Effect Andromeda. So number one is definitely the exploration. It's larger, the levels are massive now. You've got the option to explore on foot and in vehicles, and you've got the forward bases as well, so you can use these as the fast travel points as I mentioned, so it means that you're not having to slog back and forth large areas of terrain. You can unlock vaults, find alien tech and secrets, so it gives you a lot of options to explore, and also you can create settlements. And the crafting system, I really enjoy that. I do like crafting systems in games anyway, but in this one it adds an extra layer of almost like customization in terms of you can choose what you want to invest in, and you've got the different trees from different technology sort of aspects as well. The combat is a lot more dynamic and hectic, so as I mentioned at the beginning of the review, you've got more open combat, so you can be flanked more easily, you've got enemies attacking from below, behind, above, so you've got to watch out, and it means that you're having to be a bit more alert and find out what direction enemies are coming from. The skill option, in terms of that being open, I'd say it's an improvement in one way, so you're not tied down straight away, so if you decided that you didn't like a certain skill tree in the previous Mass Effect games, you basically have to restart. On this one now it gives you the option you can just invest in the skill trees that you want to at any point, and also respec if you find that the investments you've done are not for you. And as with the previous Mass Effect games, you've got a lot of primary objectives to complete, as well as side ones in this one. There's quite a lot of them, and each sort of system and planet also unlocks new side missions and exploration options, so it gives you a lot to do as well, so there's a lot of value in terms of you finding and completing new side quests and missions. And as with the previous Mass Effect games, you've got the politics involved of the different species, people out for their own ends, so it's quite interesting you can interact with that again as well. And as with the previous Mass Effect games, you've got a rich sort of array of characters as well and different species to get involved with. Now to talk about the bad points I experienced, so the cover system, I'm not keen on it being automatic, so in the Mass Effect game now, when you enter combat mode in terms of your weapons drawn, once you get near cover, you actually automatically enter cover, whereas in the previous game you could interact with it manually, and I preferred that because it felt a lot more precise. In this new game, sometimes it feels that, especially like when you're firing around corners, it's not as precise, your character actually leave cover. Now you can swap which shoulder you're firing from, so you can fire from your left or right shoulder, depending on which direction or which end of cover you're firing from. It just feels a little imprecise now. The facial animations on the whole decent, but they are the odd wooden ones that you do notice and they just seem a little bit flat. And the digital sort of almost robotic sound recording of some of the other alien species voices, it does seem a little bit jarring compared to the previous Mass Effect games. I think overall this game is kind of a victim of its own legacy in a way. The last three Mass Effect games, the actual trilogy, kind of like shepherds, the actions throughout the galaxy. They were quite an epic storyline, so in this new one I think it's never going to be able to really live up to that. And I think in a way it's because the last three games are quite iconic. If this one came out on its own with no previous Mass Effects, I think it would probably stand out a lot more than it has done, but it's kind of overshadowed by its predecessors. Overall, Mass Effect Andromeda is a good game in its own right. If you play the previous ones in the series, you're going to be already familiar with the current species and alien races, and if you've not played it, then just go into the game thinking that you're going to get an action RPG. It's got a lot of exploration, crafting, a lot of story and dialogue, and you're not going to be short of things to do, so there's a lot of primary quests as well as side quests to unlock. There's a lot of planets to explore, set up bases, a lot of combat. You're not going to be short of things to do, and overall I definitely recommend this game whether you're an existing fan of the series or whether you're a newcomer. I think the newcomer probably going to get more out of it, whereas the previous fans of the series have got a lot of expectations and have been set a very high bar by the previous games. So you might feel a little bit let down by that, but I think it's alright, it's still a good game and I would recommend getting it.